I often think of my grandmother. She always had an old water pitcher covered with moss in the hallway. She used to say, "Water is life, my daughter, but an empty house is as empty as water. There's an echo, but no warmth." Back then I, a young student at the medical institute, only smiled at this folk wisdom, and after 30 years of medical practice, thousands of consultations and studies, hundreds of historical stories, people who have crossed the 50-year mark, I realized that just recently she was right. We do it with every iron. Drink 2 liters of water a day, and so you drink with discipline, pouring these glasses down, overcoming reluctance, and what's the end result? Puffy eyes in the morning, trips to the bathroom at night, and a strange dryness of skin that no expensive cream can cure. Why does this happen? Water, which should give us freshness and elasticity, passes right through us without lingering in our cells, only burdening our kidneys and heart. Today I want to talk to you not as a lecturer, but as a doctor who sees the results of your habits at the molecular level. We'll explore why, after age 50, ordinary, empty water can become more of a burden than a salvation for your body, and how one small change, something we add to your glass, will wake up your collagen. This isn't magic or advertising, it's physiology. It's the very framework of our skin, the strength of our joints and clothing. Vascular function is directly affected not by the amount of liquid you drink, but by its quality and ability to penetrate cells. Watch this conversation to the end, because at the very end, I'll reveal a secret that's rarely discussed in clinics. It concerns the golden rule of the evening glass, which I can change your condition overnight the next morning. This knowledge is the key to getting through this without heavy legs and with a sparkling gaze. Before we delve into the details, I ask you to do one simple yet crucial thing. If you value my experience and want to be so honest, advice based on supplements appears more often. In your feed, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. These aren't just numbers. It's your support which lets me know my work is needed and we are on the same path to longevity and harmony. Thank you for being here. Let's think about what happens to us with age. After 50-55, our body changes its architecture. Cells become slightly less permeable, metabolic processes slow down, and collagen synthesis, that is, the most youthful protein, drops by almost a third. Collagen isn't just the absence of wrinkles. It's the cushioning of your hair, knees, and the strength of your vein walls. This is the health of the eye lens, and when we drink ordinary distilled or simply boiled water, it often cannot cross the cell barrier. It accumulates in the intercellular space, creating the most unpleasant edema, which we mistakenly perceive as excess water. In fact, your cell at that moment may literally be dying of thirst, trapped in oxidizing an ocean of fluid. This is the paradox of aging, internal dehydration with various edema. Had a case during my shift. A patient, Anna Sergeyevna, 62 years old, came to see me. Her complaints were classic. "Doctor, her skin was like parchment, her joints creaked, and yet I was drinking a lot, definitely 2 liters. We started investigating, and it turned out that she was drinking dead water, so purified that not a single mineral, not a single active substance remained in it. Ion, such water carries no biological information. She's just passing through." And then we changed her drinking regimen, focusing on just one simple component, which I'll tell you about a little later. A month later, Anna Sergeyevna was unrecognizable. Her complexion became vibrant, and that parchment-like quality had changed. With a healthy glow. Tell me honestly, have you noticed this in yourself? You seem to be drinking, but your lips still get dry and your throat is constantly scratchy. This is the first sign that it's time to stop drinking water without reason. We must teach her working on us, turning every sip into a healing elixir that will not simply wash away the salts but nourish the protein structure. After all, collagen is a very capricious structure. To build itself, it needs helpers, certain elements in dissolved form, which, like bricks, fit into the end chain. Tomorrow in the morning, when you reach for your first glass of water, don't rush to gulp it down. Look at it. This is your opportunity to start the regeneration process, and now we'll move on to the first, most important element, which we'll add to this glass so your skin and blood vessels will feel the difference in just a week. This is the foundation, without which everything else simply won't be absorbed. So the first and most important key that opens the doors to our cells for living moisture is organic silicon. You may have heard of it briefly, but in mature medicine we called it the connecting element. Why is this so critical for us over 50? Imagine an old brick house. Collagen is the bricks and silicon is the cement. The thief that keeps the wall from crumbling. Without it, no matter how much water you drink, no matter how many expensive collagen powders you buy, the structure of your skin and ligaments will remain loose like sand. Over the years, the silicon content in our tissues drops drastically, almost 5 times compared to your youth. And here's the paradox. We drink water, but it doesn't stick to the tissues because collagen fibers without silicon lose their ability to retain moisture. They become brittle, like dry branches in the wind. This is why the skin on our hands becomes translucent and our joints begin to make that dry crunching sound. We attribute to old age, but this isn't pure old age. It's a conductivity deficiency. How can we revitalize our water? The simplest proven method, which I recommend to my patients, is infusing water with natural black flint. This isn't pharmaceutical chemistry, it's a return to basics. When this water enters your body, it changes its structure, becoming bioavailable. I often see men, strong former military men or engineers, who are skeptical about herbs and herbs. One of them, Vladimir Petrovich, at 65, complained of constant stiffness in his lower back and dry eyes. I told him, Petrovich, let's try an experiment. Stop taking your pills for a week and start drinking water infused with flint. Just try it. 10 days later he came back with wide eyes. He said, Doctor, I don't know what kind of magic this is, but for the first time in 3 years, I woke up without feeling like my back was made of iron, and my eyes stopped burning, as if someone had poured sand in them. There's no secret here. Flint water activates the synthesis of collagen and elastin. It literally stitches together broken tissue bonds. Your micro-actions for tomorrow. Purchase black flint stones from a pharmacy or specialty store. Rinse them thoroughly. Place approximately 50 grams per 3 liters of water in a glass decanter and let it sit in a bright place, but not in direct sunlight, for 2 to 3 days. Start your morning with half a glass of this water. Don't gulp it down. Take small, thoughtful sips, as if you were tasting an expensive wine. Feel how softly it flows, how it literally soaks into the lining of your mouth. Try this for just 7 days. You'll notice a change in your skin tone. If you could previously pinch the back of your hand and the wrinkle would smooth out slowly, after a week of flint therapy, it will begin to bounce back. This is the work of collagen, reinforced by the right water. But silicon is only the foundation for the building to stand strong and keep it warm inside. We need to add to this water the energy of the sun and the right acidity. After 50, our blood tends to become acidic. This is the main reason why collagen is destroyed faster than it can be restored. And the next step is to add to our ritual an element that turns ordinary drinking into a true detox procedure for your blood vessels and capillaries, moving from the fundamental silicon to the next step. We must remember the most important environment in which our collagen lives, our blood and lymph. With age, unfortunately, our internal rivers become more viscous and the environment more acidic. Imagine the difference between a mountain stream and a stagnant pond. In an acidic, stagnant environment, collagen fibers literally melt, lose their structure, and turn into a useless jelly. That's why, no matter how much silica water we drink, we need to create conditions so that this water not only enters the cells but also flushes out metabolic waste. The second element that I highly recommend adding to your morning glass is natural lemon juice or high-quality apple cider vinegar, literally a teaspoon per glass. It would seem acidic, but it conceals an amazing biological secret. When lemon juice enters our body, it turns into an alkaline substance during metabolism. It gently shifts our metabolic rate toward health, and collagen thrives in a slightly alkaline environment. Only in these conditions does its synthesis reach its full potential. I had a patient, Elena Borisovna, a former teacher. At 58, she looked tired, complained of a constant grayish complexion and the skin on her elbows and heels becoming rough as sandpaper. We added this simple sour morning ritual to her diet. 2 weeks later, she called me, absolutely delighted. Doctor, the skin on my elbows has become like my granddaughter's, pink and soft, and the secret is simple. Lemon juice not only alkalizes, it is a powerful conductor of vitamin C, without which collagen formation is chemically impossible. Vitamin C is a welding machine. that binds amino acids into strong collagen fibers. But be careful, if you have stomach issues, do not drink this concentrated water on an empty stomach. Make the water lukewarm, about 36-40 C. This is our body temperature. The body doesn't need to expend energy heating it, and the water immediately goes into the intestines, where the magic of absorption begins. Your micro actions for tomorrow: prepare half a lemon the night before. In the morning, squeeze a teaspoon of juice into a glass of warm, creamy water. Drink through a straw if you're concerned about your tooth enamel, but make it a ritual, not on the run, not in between things. Sit by the window and look at the morning sky. Feel how this living moisture begins to awaken every cell, how it carries a signal to your body. It's time to build something new, time to renew. Try this regimen for at least 7 days. You'll be surprised, but along with the condition of your skin, that morning fatigue, when you seem to have slept well but have no energy, will disappear. Your lymph will move faster, swelling will begin to subside, and your skin will acquire that healthy porcelain hue that you can't buy in a beauty store. However, my dears, even the purest and most properly charged water cannot perform miracles alone if our body lacks specific living oils. Collagen is a protein, but its elasticity is directly dependent on fat metabolism, and in the next part I'll tell you about a component we'll add to our diet to make our skin not just firm, but also incredibly nourished from the inside, as if you've just returned from an expensive spa. The fourth secret we'll add to our health repertoire concerns what I call internal lubricant. Imagine an old violin. The wood may be perfect, the strings taut, but if the bow is dry and rough, there will be no music. In our body, the role of this bow is played by the right fatty acids, namely, a combination of water with a drop of high-quality vegetable oil or omega-3 intake. After age 50, our skin's lipid barrier thins. Water simply evaporates from the surface of the epidermis. No matter how much you drink, collagen without fat support becomes brittle, like dry spaghetti. I often see this in my consultations. Women come to me who have been dieting their entire lives, dreading every drop of fat, and what do I see when they're 60? Deep wrinkled lines that can't be smoothed out, and joints that literally creak with every step. Their bodies can't retain water because there's no oil lock to hold it in. I had a patient in my practice, Viktor Mikhailovich, a former athlete. He complained of constant knee pain and dry skin that literally flakes off. We didn't drink liters of water. We added flaxseed oil to his diet and taught him to drink emulsified water. What does this mean? It doesn't mean drinking oil by the glass. No, we'll add one small nuance to our morning ritual with lemon and silicon. If you take vitamins or supplements, do so with this glass of water, adding just a teaspoon of unrefined, cold-pressed oil, cedar, flaxseed, or olive. Fat activates bile flow, and bile, my dears, is our body's main antiseptic and the main activator of the absorption of the micronutrients that build collagen. Without normal bile flow, your silicon and vitamin C from lemon will simply miss the target. Your micro actions for tomorrow: buy a small bottle of wheat germ oil or sea buckthorn oil. These oils are champions in vitamin E, the vitamin of fertility and youth. Add exactly 5 drops to your morning glass of water with lemon and stir thoroughly. You'll create a barely noticeable emulsion. By drinking it, you signal your liver and gallbladder: wake up, it's time to feed your tissues. Try this method for 7 days. You'll feel your skin change, firmer, as if nourished from the inside. This is the synergistic effect. Silicon provides a framework, lemon provides a medium and vitamin C, and a drop of oil locks moisture within the collagen fibers. The tight feeling after washing that plagues us so much in middle age will disappear. But my friends, there's another enemy that literally eats our collagen from the inside, turning it into a hard, dysfunctional sugar glue, and in the next part I'll tell you about the component we'll eliminate or replace to stop the process of glycation, the sugaring of our proteins, which all the world's leading gerontologists are now trumpeting. We've reached what I call the point of no return for our youth. You know, in medicine there's a term called glycation. In layman's terms, it's the sugaring of our proteins. Imagine a deliciously golden crust on baked meat or crispy toast. It looks beautiful on a plate, but when the same thing happens inside your vessels and skin, it's a disaster. Sugar in our blood literally sticks to collagen fibers, making them stiff, brittle, and lifeless. Collagen turns into cross-linked debris that the body can neither remove nor renew. This is where those deep wrinkles and age spots come from, which are resistant to creams. Therefore, the fifth element of our transformation is not what we add, but how we trick this process with natural bitters. At our age, the sweet life is